And so right around that time, as I was getting ready to leave that boat, I was in this Facebook group called Open Guard, which was um, a Facebook group for like kind of for queer people, but some were active duty, some weren't. And I started seeing a thing from a couple of them that was like, hey, there's these things called affinity groups in the Coast Guard, which are groups for underrepresented communities within this organization, and there is nothing for LGBTQ folks. And it's been a decade almost since Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. And so I had seen that, and I think it was the combination of starting to feel confident on this boat, which had felt so isolating for so long. And at the same time, right around that time in April-ish of that year, we were actually up in Baltimore for a maintenance period. And so I was going to DC a lot to visit my friend John, aka Cake the Drag Queen, who I also co-host a podcast with now, who I had met in my time in Virginia Beach. So I was visiting him and meeting all these queer people. And so you have to picture, like, I didn't really have any, or like I didn't have an extensive queer network of friends in the Coast Guard. And that was really all my friends were in Virginia, where I was stationed on the boat. And so I started meeting people and really feeling empowered to like try new things and be myself in more situations without the fear of what I was experiencing in my workplace. And so I was seeing this group in this Facebook, a few people talking about wanting to start this group. And so I was like, I want to be part of this. Like I'm still sort of scared of all this, but I think this is something that will not just help everyone around me, but it's also going to help me. And so I think it was like May 5th or something of 2019, we virtually planted the flag of Coast Guard Spectrum, which is it's a service-wide affinity group that is staunchly anti-racist and multicultural and advocacy for LGBTQ folk who serve. And we have some other aspects to it as well, but the biggest thing that we are is we're welcoming to anyone who's willing to stand up against oppression. And I have been radically changed by this group, and I attribute it to the folks there's 7 of us in the founding board, the group that sort of got together and decided we're going to do this. And 2 of them specifically who've been doing this work for a long time, and have one of them specifically, her name's Kim. She's been harmed multiple times by this organization and has still stuck with it to fight against all of these things. And it's so inspiring to me. I want to preface this by saying, and I'm required to say this, these are my views and not the views of the Coast Guard, because I literally can get in trouble for that. But anyway, I just am very proud of this, because I think I've seen it change. I've seen it affect people in such a way that, I mean, I had a conversation with someone who was about to join the service, and they were going through the officer candidate school program, and trans man who wanted to go through the transition process. And this is under the Trump administration, so it's really fucking difficult during this time. And having this conversation, then I got to explain to him about our group, and the change in his voice when he heard that there was a group of people, community for him in this organization that was forcing him to route a memo as to why this transition was needed to his bosses, which is the most inappropriate thing to me ever. Like, it's none of their business, but he's struggling with this because it feels like such an invasion of privacy. But then the change in the comfort of his voice when he hears that there is a family in this organization that is there for him. I mean, that was the moment where I was like, this is why we did it. If nothing else, it's just to have a community that was not visible before, and it shouldn't have taken 10 years after Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but at the same time, it's here now.